Opie does it too when Opie does Facebook live shows, which, by the way, Opie was live before we went live today.
Oh, really?
38 people.
A little fall from grace, huh?
Oh, you talk about it. Whose fall from grace is bigger, Stuttering John or Opie?
I say Opie.
Because, Stuttering John's still got comics coming on, and he's still got politicians coming on.
I all day say Opie.
Opie's got 38 people.
We had O&A back in the day, and now he's this.
Well,
he's a booger-picking, booger-eating piece of shit. Are you kidding me?
And Stuttering John was just an intern for Howard Stern, and the announcer for The Tonight Show, and a writer for The Tonight Show. Opie was the Opie in Opie and Anthony. He was one of the guys in the second biggest radio comedy show ever. Mm-hmm. And from potentially 1 million listeners when they were on FM radio to now.
He is not that guy anymore, and he certainly thinks he is.
Potato Head says the fact that Opie still thinks he's relevant is crazy.
Yes.
Do you guys want to see some Opie? Because I has got some Opie. It's been bad. I mean, remember a couple weeks ago when we played an Opie clip and Opie said, I'm done with the Opie and Anthony. I'm done with it. It doesn't bother me. Those guys are obsessed with me. And
says every person that's not thought of at all.
Yeah, and now Opie, all he does is clip out clips of him talking about the O&A show.
Even to me, I don't necessarily know all the numbers for Compound right now, but Anthony's still out here doing shit.
Yeah, Anthony, you got to respect the fact that Anthony, for 8 years since he's been fired from Sirius, is still at least able to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
Talk
to some bigger people.
Oh, absolutely. I'll say this about Anthony. The only thing about Anthony is I feel like he's carrying too many people.
He absolutely is. That carrying, Gino guy's got to go.
Yeah, Gino is unnecessary. People, nobody's going to get rid of Compound Media because Gino Bisconte ain't there anymore.
No.
Bill Schultz. They got Bill Schultz and paid him money to do a dog shit morning program because Gavin left. Gavin had a morning show that was absolutely worth viewing. I watched it every morning after my show was done. I think Gavin is, I truly do. I don't take this shit so seriously that, Gavin pulled that shitty Morning Zoo bit that he did recently, the FBI thing. Mm-hmm. What I write that off is, he did a really shitty, hacky bit, moving on. And I like it watching the drama around it.
I like watching Owen's side.
Yeah, and Owen's hilarious to watch. But Gavin's a funny guy. Anthony's a funny guy. The only thing about Anthony is he's just carrying too many people. And, and that's not even really a criticism because that's just he's a nice guy who doesn't want to see these guys lose a job.
He has said himself he hates confrontation.
Yeah, doesn't like confrontation, doesn't like running things. Citizen M says Anthony is crashing and burning. I don't think he's crashing and burning any more than the last 8 years have been. If that's crashing and burning, I mean, the guy took his loyal audience with him and made himself
I think he's plateaued somewhere.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that happens. And Anthony says that. He goes, you have your rise, you have your fall, and you hope your fall settles somewhere in here.
And I think he's done that.
That's exact. And he says that as much.
Recently, I've actually thought he's been the most funny he's been.
Yeah, recently he's been back to...
At least for recent years.
Old Anthony, it's been very good. This is 21 hours ago. And by the way, these are the only things that get views for him. And it's 1.2 thousand views.
Oh, and he has 138,000 subscribers. And
138,000
1,000
subscribers.
Watching.
Yeah, his full half-hour shows or 40-minute streams, 642 views.
His subscriber to views ratio is not good.
Not good. Opie was how Opie got Opie and Anthony to New York City. Opie is mentally ill. You can't run away from Opie and Anthony. I mean, this is just in the last 5 days. Trump called Opie and Anthony. The dark side of fame, took a lot of things for granted. Get this. Opie made a video called I Worked with a Lot of Narcissists.
I bet you did.
Wow. That was a half hour. We won't do that one. We'll pick a few clips out of here.
I feel like a lot of celebrities, though, are narcissistic on a certain level just to make sure they're doing well. You have to focus on making sure you're doing well. Otherwise, you're not going to stick around.
Sure. Let's Here we
that
go.
seems unimportant.
Let's watch a few Opie clips, then we'll get to our 7 o'clock hour stuff. And what did I say we're watching for overtime?
Right On in DSP.
DSP, because there's no Right On. They didn't make
that's
their
right.
new episode. They didn't upload their new episode yet. All right, I tried to keep the Opie and Anthony brand going. Again, coming from a guy who says that he's done talking about Opie and Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Let's, he does this shitty thing where he puts a clip of what he's talking about in the beginning and then does his intro. I know you hate that too.
Did talk to Anthony. I tried everything, started taking phone calls from the guy. They were going great. And then out of nowhere, he started hating on me again. And that was it for me.
Yeah, I hate how people introduce
Right, just
like
play your
that.
fucking clip, you goofy bastard.
Just start it.
And also, this is another common thing with Opie. Everyone who shits on him, shit on him for no reason at all.
Oh, yeah, they have no merit to say the things they're saying,
Opie
right?
is just this unlucky guy who every time people start trashing him, they start trashing him for no reason, just out of nowhere.
I bet.
This Opie was sitting around one day. He was just minding his own business. And all of a sudden, everyone just started shitting
Doing
on
his
Opie.
thing.
Yeah.
You know, Dallas, I will engage with you for a second. Okay. You do know.
Right, for a second. This is a 2-minute video. He'll engage with him for a second because, he doesn't think about Opie and Anthony anymore.
Dude.
And he doesn't talk about it, and he doesn't clip it out 3 times a week.
He just looks bad, too.
Yeah.
That I officially hired Anthony and officially hired Jim Norton, right?
Oh, okay. So because you hired them, then that makes they should all thank you. It's not that you hired these guys and then they performed to such a degree that they got you out of overnights. But Opie likes to act like when he hired Anthony, this Anthony was destitute and he was a real piece of shit. And I was this radio guy. Opie was doing overnight segging songs in Rochester, New York.
Doesn't sound that impressive.
Rochester or Long Island, I think. No, it was Long Island. It wasn't even Rochester. He was on Long Island introducing rock records at midnight.
Sounds productive.
Let me tell you something about radio. The bosses don't care about what the midnight guy is doing.
No,
they
that's-
just want to make sure he kept the station back on the air back then. Now it's all voice tracked, and those people aren't even there. They recorded that 4 days ago.
Right, that's why that's overnights. Okay?
Right. Back
not
then,
listening.
when Opie was doing it in the early 90s, the overnight guy was just there to make sure the station didn't burn down. And then he would say, here's Stone Temple Pilots. And then off you go. So he's doing overnights. He finds this guy, this Anthony, who goes on to be what Ron Bennington would call one of the funniest people in the country at one point. And along with Anthony, Opie gets out of overnights, gets to afternoons, gets to mornings, gets to syndication, gets to satellite, all that stuff. And he still thinks that he's the guy who built Opie and Anthony. It's remarkable, the delusion on
Just
this fuck.
because you maybe started something, like even if you're the one who hired someone, doesn't mean you're the one who made it work.
It would be like the guy who scouted Tom Brady in college. And then when Tom Brady got to the pros and became the greatest quarterback of all time, he goes, well, I think Tom Brady owes me a big thank you for his career.
Right, you didn't make Tom Brady.
Right.
Tom Brady wouldn't be here if he wasn't performing.
That's the worst about this is like the complete and utter dishonesty. And the other thing is like my role on the Opie and Anthony show at times was very boring and sort of behind the scenes. The fact is,
And by the way, Opie, that drives you nuts. You're very insecure. That's the whole thing that was bringing down, before Anthony's Twitter thing, that's the thing that was bringing down the Opie and Anthony show. The guy who was the behind the scenes, doing things quietly guy,
Yes.
could not stand the fact that he was the behind the scenes, doing things quietly guy.
You didn't want to be the guy that didn't get the attention, right?
Oh, you don't want to be the on-air part of Opie and Anthony because you were still the overnight Long Island jock. All right? You were not a guy who was going to carry a nationally syndicated program. You should thank your lucky stars that you had the insight, at least, to contact Anthony, to contact Jim Norton, to bring these guys aboard because you were never getting out of overnights, man. Never. You say your inspiration for radio was Brother Weeze. Brother Weeze fucking sucks, buddy. Somebody's got to tell you at 60 years old. He's fucking dog shit. He's the radio hack that you always used to make fun of. Brother Weeze would have been a Jocktober guy had you not loved him so much. But for him to sit there and go, people don't understand, I was the behind the scenes guy. It's that people don't understand part that was going to do in the Opie and Anthony show. Because he wanted people to know when everybody was laughing at Jim and everybody was laughing at Ant. Well, Opie, you said it yourself. You're the guy who put it all together. Be happy that you were that guy. I've never seen a millionaire so insecure with the position he held.
There's also the thing about that show, though, is like they're a team, and the reason that all of them were successful is because they were all working together. And he's more so saying like, "Oh, there was an I in team. Like you don't even know all the stuff I did. You don't understand."
Right, and at the same time, and sorry, I had my phone on the ground, Marquise. I know you called in earlier. That's my fault. Apologies, buddy.
Shut. All right.
Oh,
see these guys? They're trying.
Okay, first of all, let's go back to those eyes.
Oh, boy.
Opie. That ain't trying. That's succeeding. Whatever these guys in the chat are trying to do, again, another reason why you can't live in your chat. When we're doing this stuff, we can't see the chat. We're trying to entertain the people in the chat. Opie's sitting there reading this shit, breaking his stream of consciousness and going, these guys, they're trying. See, look at this, Ope. That ain't trying.
Those crazed eyes say a lot more
That's
than trying.
doing. They fucked you up.
They're challenging me. Stop being a wuss. Talk to Anthony. The fact is, I did talk to Anthony. I tried everything. Started taking phone calls from the guy. They were going great. I started thinking there might be some way to keep at least the Opie and Anthony brand going. I knew at that point that I didn't want to do a show with him full time anymore. And then
that's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard.
That is so stupid. I actually don't understand why any of this let that happen. Like, totally fall apart.
If this show was the size Opie and Anthony was, and Johnny and I hated each other off the air, I'd go, you know what? We're still making banger shows on the air. We just won't fucking talk to each other.
You're co-workers, okay?
Simple as that. You know, you work with people you don't like all the goddamn time. If it's working, you can punch in. And just before the mics go on, if you need to go, I fucking hate you. He goes, I fucking hate you too. And then after that, you guys do a show. Fine, do it.
Yeah, you have to talk later. You're getting good products out there. Who cares?
And this bullshit Opie revisionist history that, I tried to keep the brand alive. Yeah, until it came to time, nut cutting time when Anthony got fired for those tweets. You didn't go to the bosses and go, I want you to release me from my contract. Anthony and I are going in his basement. We're going to do the Opie and Anthony show there right after the 4th of July break.
You needed him.
Yeah. I mean, you could have done it, but you didn't want to. You know what he wanted? He'll never say this. You know what Opie wanted? He wanted to show the world that Opie could be Opie and Anthony big by himself. It crashed and burned. He took a picture of his producer taking a shit in the bathroom. The company let him go, and he's been failing downward ever since. He wanted to prove he was happy. I'm tired of this bullshit that he wanted to keep the brand alive. Opie was happy when Anthony got fired.
Because now the spotlight's on him.
Spotlight's on him. He can show I didn't need that fucking guy anymore.
Yes, you did.
You did. Jim Norton hated working with you. You were a pain in the ass to everyone. And now you didn't have your comedic buddy to bail you out by being really hilarious and engaging on the air. I'm putting this clip up. I'm really having fun.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And nowhere he started hating on me again, and that was it for me. So please stop. I did try talking to the guy.
You know what really works is when you tell the internet to stop.
Yeah, that always works for sure.
That always works really
well.
And
I'm sure Anthony didn't like you very much because you kind of, I'm guessing from all the way this sounds, like he didn't have his back at all. Like you said, he didn't say, okay, let me out of this. I got to do a show with him because that's what works for us.
Do you know what Opie said?
He didn't back him at all.
Do you know what Opie said on the air? Oh, because people were saying, why don't you fucking quit and stand with Ant?
Right.
And he said, oh, well, then we'd be in breach of contract. Not if you say release me.
Yeah, fuck your contract.
Fuck the contract. Fuck the money. I'm going to go with Ant. We're going to keep doing the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, I'm sure that didn't help his dislike of you.
All popular comedy podcasts right now are trying to do the Opie and Anthony show. This one included. I'll admit it. Revenge of the Sis. Who are these podcasts? This show. Rogan has said that Opie and Anthony is the reason he started doing podcasting.
Sure.
All of us are born out of Opie and Anthony. They could have kept that show going on the internet. That's where it belonged anyway. And they'd have been fine.
Could have been on the forefront of it, huh?
I even showed up at his, I swear to God, Compound Media. And you're going to be, you don't know what, I had to think about it for a second. I even showed up there. And
wait, people have fucked him up.
He is an insecure little man.
Oh, boy.
Couldn't be bothered to be there. So I did everything I could.
He hates your guts.
I know as I sit here, all these years later, I did everything I could. And I'm done. I'm just done with the whole garbage.
By the way, if I may, he's done with the whole garbage, guys.
That turned me on.
This is You Can't Run Away from Opie and Anthony, and Opie is mentally ill. So after he said, I'm done with the whole thing, that week he made 2 more videos.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So he's done, you guys.
Call from
Marquise Harris.
To accept, press 1.
Oh, Marquise, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, Aaron, you watch your mouth.
Oh.
That motherfucker's been doing it since he was 18, man.
He's been doing radio side 18. God.
They took my radio show, man.
Oh, man.
You know what always irritates me about Opie? And I'm a late Opie and Anthony fan. Like, I listen to the YouTube clips pretty much every day at work.
Yeah.
I'll never forget. There was this one video. They were talking about how Sirius wanted them to go to an afternoon shift. And, of course, Anthony and Jim were livid. Of course, Ant's going, fuck you, call my manager, shit like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Opie pipes in going, I already said yes.
Yeah, Opie wanted to go to afternoons.
Of course he did. And the motherfucker was so determined to destroy this show just because he wanted to go to afternoons. I know you probably know more about O&A than I do, but I know for a fact this guy, when Anthony got fired, he didn't go to bat for him.
No.
It's like Anthony said, this is my fucking time to shine and fuck this guy.
Yep, exactly.
Opie's a bitch. Forever will be a bitch.
Yeah.
Punching out.
All right, thank you, buddy. Yeah, he said it all. I mean,
He has good calls.
he does. Maurice is very good. But yeah, the Opie and Anthony thing, it didn't have to end the way it did.
He sabotaged his good thing he had going, though, so that he could be the guy.
Because he was insecure. Let's go to Johnny. Hello, Johnny. What's up?
Hey, fuck you.
Fair enough. You going to be here Monday?
Yep.
All right. There you go.
What the fuck?
Yeah, if the show got that popular and Johnny and I were like that, that would not bother me in the least.
No, because if you're doing a good show, who the fuck cares?
We could have
Are you
live
rich? Okay.
live events with thousands, hundreds, if not thousands of people there, and we could stay on opposite ends of the event talking to people.
Yes.
It'd be fine.
Yep.
I would not care. Oh, he wouldn't hold it together because he thought he could still do it. Oh, man, that not insecurity, that delusion. Look, that guy could have kept it going for as long as he wanted, and he couldn't get out of his own fucking way.
How many years did their show go together?
Let's see, 20 years. They were on their 20th year together.
So after 20 years, he thought he was hot shit and could do it alone.
Completely forgetting he was an overnight jock at a rock station before that. Opie is still mad his wife fucked Bam Margera. Well, look, I mean, everybody dates before, they settle down. What are you going to do?
Wait.
His wife, by
true?
all accounts, seems like a lovely lady. She seems like everybody has nice things to say about her. Not Opie. Opie actually cost his wife a few, friendships. Because Opie's such a fucking asshole that, like Rich Voss and his wife, Rich's wife was good friends with Opie's wife, and they couldn't hang out anymore because Opie started trashing Rich Voss.
Yep.
Because he can't help himself.
Partners being a piece of shit, I guess you lose friends too, huh?
Yeah. Opie killed O&A just like he killed Steve C. Jesus Christ with that one. Oh, my God.